EA are rethinking their approach to the entire Battlefield franchise, Gotham Knights cancels its last-gen console port, Hell Let Loose is finally getting new content on console, and much more on Today in Gaming. Hey guys, LevelCap here, and according to CEO Andrew Wilson, EA are rethinking the entire development process for Battlefield. He had a lot to say about the franchise in response to questions during the company's latest investors call. Wilson promised investors that EA will continue to grow the Battlefield franchise after getting 2042's core experience in the right place. Once they hit that milestone, the developers will pivot to expanding and growing the game. DICE are currently working on map and specialist reworks. A content update is also in the works for the Season 1 launch early this summer. This month, we're expecting another quality of life update with more bug fixes, balance changes, and more. Wilson continued, saying that EA is rethinking the development process from the ground up, using Vince Zampella's model of get to the fun as quickly as possible. Zampella was put in charge of the entire Battlefield franchise last December, and the man has a pretty impressive track record. Under his direction, Respawn Entertainment have released the Titanfall franchise, Apex Legends, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. All of these games were well received and commercial successes. It's not entirely clear what get to the fun as quickly as possible means for Battlefield, but even a literal interpretation would make sense. It could mean that rounds start you closer to the action than they currently do. It could mean that simply launching the game and finding a match is a quicker, more streamlined process. Finally, Wilson reiterated that Battlefield is a key franchise for the company and will remain so for many years to come. EA expects the franchise to grow in the future. It's tough to say what the future will look like under such radically new leadership. Zampella helped create Call of Duty. All of the multiplayer games he worked on have the arcade action that those games are so well known for, and Battlefield has always towed the line between tactical combat and arcadey action. Different entries in the franchise leaned one way more than the other. Maybe Zampella will push it over the line, or maybe he'll reel it in and get it back toward its core design. Battlefield Mobile also got some attention during the investor call. EA confirmed that the game is launching either late this year or early next year to ensure that it has enough time for beta testing. The store page for the game on Google's App Store has been updated to confirm a new alpha playtest is launching this month. What do you guys think the future of the Battlefield franchise should look like? Should EA go back to the basics? Should they take things in a new direction entirely? Let us know in the comments. Warner Bros. Released a new gameplay demo for their upcoming action co-op brawler Gotham Knights. The game is set in the Batman Arkham universe and follows the events of Arkham Knight. Warner Bros. Previously developed Arkham Origins, which was a prequel to the franchise. The new gameplay demo for Gotham Knights highlights Nightwing and Red Hood, two of the game's playable characters. It's set midway through the story. Gotham Knights will be an open-world title, and it looks like Warner Bros. Has massively expanded Gotham City from its previous titles while also adding more detail and NPCs to flesh it out. Combat looks pretty solid with both characters. Nightwing has acrobatic attacks that fit the franchise's free-flow melee combat system to a T. Red Hood's attacks revolve around non-lethal guns, but he can still brawl like most other characters. Where things go a little off the rails is the game's expanded RPG mechanics. Previous games gave you XP to unlock abilities over time, but Gotham Knights is taking more of a looter-shooter route with mod slots, blueprints, and crafting materials. The game also has a renewed emphasis on stealth, though it doesn't look too different from what Arkham fans are used to. Probably the biggest reveal during the demo is that Gotham Knights will be a PC and current gen only title. It was previously announced for the last gen console platforms, but the developers canceled those versions to ensure the best possible experience for all players. Gotham Knights launches on October 25th. Elden Ring is officially From Software's best-selling title ever. It's sitting at 13.4 million units sold. That's half the lifetime sales of the entire Dark Souls franchise combined. Dark Souls 3 was the studio's previous bestseller at 10 million units since launch, but Elden Ring passed 12 million units sold less than 3 weeks after launch. This is a pretty amazing accomplishment considering From's titles are renowned for their difficulty and obscure storylines. Elden Ring is more co-op oriented than previous titles, making it much more accessible, but even so, it's still a challenging title that would otherwise seem very niche if it weren't for its outstanding success. EA and FIFA officially ended their partnership. The FIFA games have been a staple of EA sports titles for years and are often the most profitable games in the publisher's annual reports. Next year's entry in the franchise will be called EA Sports FC. All of the features from past FIFA titles, including partnerships and content, will still be available in this new title despite not carrying the league's official branding. It's tough to say what dropping the partnership means for EA. The FIFA organization is opening up licensing to other developers with no exclusivity. It seems pretty reasonable that EA and FIFA will continue working together in some capacity. The PGL Antwerp Major for CSGO had the best day one viewership of any major yet. It hit a peak concurrent viewer count of over 700,000 viewers, nearly 50,000 more than the previous Stockholm Major last year, which was the most viewed major of all time. Given the nature of these tournaments, it's likely peak viewership numbers will continue to climb all the way to the final match. Typically, those matches attract 1 million viewers or more. Apex Legends is officially a $2 billion title. The Battle Royale's revenue is up 40% this year. The boost in sales pushed the title beyond $2 billion in lifetime sales, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Season 13 just launched this week. Players seem pretty happy with it overall. The new legend Newcastle has quickly found a place in the meta as a powerful revive and support hero. The changes to ranked point distribution finally reward team play and overall skill instead of just how many kills you get, and the only major bug being reported by players right now is an issue with Loba's tactical ability not working. Are you guys playing Apex Legends? Let us know in the comments what you think about Season 13. BioWare accidentally teased the return of Mass Effect's lead character Shepard on a store page for an official Mass Effect 5 poster. The art for this poster was released last year and has several Easter eggs hinting at returning characters. The store page's description for the poster recently got updated and implied Shepard would return to save the survivors left in the wake of Earth's destruction. BioWare says this description was a mistake written by people who run the store and aren't familiar with the game. Mass Effect 5 doesn't have a release date and is still in early development. Regardless, fans are very excited as it seems like a return to form for the studio following Mass Effect Andromeda's poor reception. They recently launched a complete remaster of the first 3 titles to positive reviews from longtime fans, and that gave players hope the studio would deliver a compelling 5th title that lives up to the franchise's legacy. Tactical World War II shooter Hell Let Loose is finally getting a content update on console. Current-gen console players are getting Content Update 1 on May 17th. This update includes the Soviet faction, new maps, weapons, vehicles, and more. The update is the first injection of new content since the console port launched in October last year. It's not exactly one-to-one with the PC version's current content, but it's much closer than what the console players have been stuck with since launch. The patch notes for the update are massive and include tons of bug fixes on top of the new content. Hell Let Loose has overall been well received on console, so it's great to see it getting more support. Hopefully the devs can get the PC and console versions in sync with each other soon. If you're wondering why this is probably the first time you've heard about the update, it's because the developers aren't marketing it due to the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The content update is obviously very focused on Soviet Russia, and the developers aren't doing their regular marketing out of sensitivity for the victims of the real-world conflict. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.